Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. So I'm having a late night stream because I have a bit more information for you guys. Of course, the hot topic right now is F2Pool and their founder Chun Wang. And I have some very interesting things to show you guys. Actually, one interesting thing, and I have to thank a viewer, Jacob, for sending this to me because this was really hard to find. But after I read this article, Memoirs from Chun Wang, I want you guys, the Bitcoin holders, to decide if we can actually trust what he's saying, because he's not really taking what is going on very seriously, as you can see with his Twitter post. So I want to discuss it. I want to share some more information with you guys and let you guys decide what in the world is happening right now and discuss what we can do about it, because I think a lot of people are wondering at this point, what do we need to do, right? How do we stop it? And I'm going to present some ideas. I'm just going to throw some out there and let you guys decide. But right now, I'm glad to see that other influencers, other channels are talking about us. So big thanks to BitBoy this morning. Also, Tyler S., I heard, was talking about it. And also even Zombie was talking about it. So I'm glad that other people are picking this up. But I feel like there's still not enough attention. You know, the biggest news outlets like CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, and all these other ones that, you know, I cover the stories from, they're not talking about it. And I'm wondering why, right? I'm wondering why. I would hope that everyone wants to get on the bottom of this. So this story, this news could definitely be spread out more. And I need all of you guys to help me in doing so, right? All right, so thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I do have my drink, my light beer, my Miller Lite today, since it is later today, right? So I'm gonna have a few drinks with you guys, but I want to have a good old time. Let me share some things with you guys since this morning and earlier. Since this morning and late last night. All right, let's do this. Let me share my screen here with you guys. It's not showing up. Let me fix that. There we go. All right. So the first thing I want to start out with, despite the fact of what's going on, Bitcoin is doing pretty good. I can't... You know, I think some people are starting to get freaked out by what's going on, but let's not lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin is at 33,000, 34,000. So it is holding very well. That means despite the fact there is a lot of selling, there is a whole lot of buying, right? And Bitcoin is just hovering around this 34.5, right? And it's just holding that line. And besides Bitcoin, you know, us holders the crypto community is certainly not just standing still. Altcoins are doing very hot right now across the board. You have protocols that are doing good, DeFi that's doing good, right? So this shows the community is not fearful. The community is enjoying and reaping the benefits right now, right? So first and foremost, that is the most important thing. It's not like everyone is scared and worried about some massive dump or just sitting on silence. No, that's not the case at all. And that's because there's so many positive things coming. So many positive things have happened already, right? We know institution adoption already occurred and more is about to FOMO, and especially with Michael Saylor's conference, right? Retail investors are getting back in, and almost every single financial person out there, whether from Wall Street or from universities or wherever, they're all turning to Bitcoin and talking about Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin and crypto is a very, very good spot right now. However, there's this mystery, right? There's this mystery. It's been bugging me. I think it bothers some of you guys, right? So that's why I continue to share some updates or more updates as I get them, right? And we'll see if we collectively can put a stop to it or do something about it, right? So this tonight, I was looking at this, and this headline is supposed to be positive for Bitcoin, but it couldn't help me wonder, you know, who is shorting Bitcoin. The point of this article is, yes, Bitcoin could be the new GameStop, and the author is trying to make a correlation because right now, despite the fact Bitcoin is holding very well, there is a massive, massive amount of shorts happening. And this is according to another site, not CryptoQuant, it's called a Block. And this looks at the open interest of CME Bitcoin futures that are short right now. So it was very high. They label it basically, there's only two categories that really matter. Hedge funds and asset managers, and then others are non-reported, right? And this one right here shows the hedge funds. They had a $1.64 billion short on Bitcoin. It has dropped to 1.3 billion, but that's still a lot, $1.3 billion. And this author was trying to make the correlation that, yeah, if you have so many short sellers, you can definitely ruin them like Melvin Capital, right? So that's why Bitcoin could be the new GameStop. But Bitcoin is so much bigger than GameStop, right? We know that, yes, Wall Street Bets was trying to make a point, and they certainly made a point with GameStop, AMC, and a few others. But Bitcoin is not just trying to end Wall Street or end shenanigans of Wall Street or end short sellers. Bitcoin is in a much bigger game. It's trying to take down basically the financial industry, which is a whole other game. But I get it. I get, she's trying to relate the two, right? But here's the thing. This is labeled hedge funds. Is it really hedge funds? That's what makes me wonder. Is it really hedge funds? Or is it F2Pool utilizing their power to play both sides, to short Bitcoin through futures or options, right? And gain from that while driving the price lower with their selling, right? So this is the biggest question mark right now. Now, it's not proven. So this is just, I'm trying to put the pieces together. But if you look at the evidence, it's pretty damning, right? It's pretty damning. So right now, if you look at the overall pool size, F-Pool commands 16.1% of the overall mining. That is an enormous amount. They have a ton of hash rate, and they do have a ton of Bitcoin that they mine every single day, right? So, so you guys saw this. Let me move my camera again. But I'm going to recap some things that you guys have seen, and of course show you some new things that I haven't shown before. So of course you guys saw this. This is night and day. Pretty clear that they are responsible for what's been going on with Bitcoin. Why it just can't seem to move up. Why the price seems to be suppressed. Because when you have 14,000 Bitcoins being sold in a single day, and you have all these other days where you're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 12,000 Bitcoins being sold, that's a lot. That's a lot of selling pressure no matter how you slice it, right? And if you add all this together, you're talking about a lot of Bitcoins being sold within a very short amount of time, right? So that's number one. That's pretty accurate. Now, the first lie that F2Pool got caught, or at least Chung got caught saying, is this. I mean, I didn't even pay attention to this at first, and it's silly me, but this was pinned January 22nd when F-Pool responded by saying, we did not sell Bitcoin today. We hope you did not either. But look at this. Okay, Chung is saying, our wallet is mixed up with Mt. Gox and many others because we use to sweep UTXO from publicly accessible brain wallets like Password Cat, blah, 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 right? So he's saying, yeah, whatever you guys detect is not from us, right? But even if that was the case, if you go outside of the 22nd, you'll see that there are a ton of Bitcoin being sold. Right? And even on the 22nd, this shows that they still sold 888 Bitcoins. But let's just assume that what he said is true, which I don't think so. There's a massive amount of selling. So that's lie That's pretty much line number one, right? And since this whole thing started, Shang just doesn't really take anything seriously right now. So I've covered a few things like this one, saying that he sold $4 billion worth of Bitcoin as a joke to buy a one-way ticket to Mars, right? Again, obviously, he's not taking various things seriously. And then he then tweeted saying that, you know what? Whatever I sold or whatever we sold is nothing. We have mined over 1 million Bitcoins within the last decade, and we only sold less than 10% of reserve. So screw you guys. We could sell a whole lot more if we wanted to, right? This is nothing. So he's being very boastful about it, almost like threatening the matter, saying that, you know what, you guys mess with me, I'll keep going, right? So since then, he then tweeted this 7 hours ago, and I don't get the point. I don't know if it's bad English, bad grammar, I don't know, the way if he's being cheeky, I don't know. I mean, you guys decide this for yourself. I don't think this proves anything. Addicted, when you have superpowers to dump coins not belong to you, you can't stop from dumping them. Had the Konami code unlimited mode gained. And then he posted 2 graphs, one for F2Pool to exchanges, to all exchanges, and F2Pool outflow, which pretty much correlates with each other. So I'm not sure, what he's trying to say. Like over here, this is the one that he was trying to show. He was showing on an hourly chart. I'm looking at a daily chart, but this is the hourly that he posted, which clearly shows that, yeah, F2Pool did transfer a lot to exchanges, but this is not the whole story. CryptoQuant does not track, of course, transfers to OTC market. It's only going to the exchanges. So even though, yes, there's a massive influx to the exchanges, the number doesn't correlate to the total outflow, which, doesn't take, again, into account going to OTC markets, right? So I don't know what this proves. I think he was trying to be cheeky and saying the two doesn't match, and that, a lot of the coins doesn't belong to them. I think that's what he's saying. Again, I can't tell if he's cheeky or just bad grammar because, I don't know if, I just don't know. You guys decide what he's saying. But obviously, this is a 180 if he's trying to say that, because he just got done saying and being boastful about, well, I got so much more Bitcoin to dump. And then he comes out and says, well, actually, they don't belong to me. So what is it, right? Which one is true? Which one is false? So again, it just seems like, he can't even get his story right? And then there's a few others. Bitcoin isn't about trust. Use the damn brain of yours and verify. I think he's trying to say that people are not verifying the facts or data, right? But I mean, how can you trust anything he's saying? Because it's just back and forth. And it started with a lie, right? And the whole purpose of bringing this up is because there are still a lot of people wondering, why would you have a miner try to suppress the price? Why would they be selling, right, to cause the price to go down? Or, why do you care? It's their Bitcoins. They could sell whatever they want, right? It seems like a lot of those phantom accounts just started popping up. And BitBoy even also mentioned this, whether or not they're legit or they're paid people to start asking questions. I don't know, because I'm seeing a lot of those. Here's the problem. When you have someone that has enough Bitcoins on hand and they're able to drive the market in a certain direction, they have that kind of power, they can manipulate the market and utilize that power for gains, right? Now, a lot of people will argue, so what? I am a miner and I could sell anytime I want, right? The difference is you can't affect the market. You can't sway the market. And here's a perfect example of what happens when you sway the market, or you can anticipate of what's coming. Okay, let's just put it that way. Let me zoom in here. So this is Deribit's future open interest, right? And this morning, I'm not going to show you everything I showed this morning, but I went through all the futures that was offered on the exchanges. For example, Binance or OKX or Huobi and all these guys, right? But Deribit is the one that seems to be most obvious right now because for the most part, all the other exchanges, I showed the charts and they were lining up, right? In terms of if Bitcoin rises up, the interest rises up. If Bitcoin comes down, the interest goes down. The black line is Bitcoin's price. The orange is the interest, the open interest, right? But here's the example of market manipulation. And I'm not saying that F2Pool did this, but this is just an example where Bitcoin's price started going down rapidly, but the interest went up. And I bet you most of that interest was shorts. So someone or a group of people anticipated that Bitcoin was going to fall, right? Look at all these other periods where Bitcoin's price goes up, interest goes up. Bitcoin's price goes down, it goes down, right? To times afterwards, you can see they pretty much correlate 1-to-1. With the exception of this, they were completely opposite. So there was a party or some parties that knew the price was going to go down and they put in a lot of shorts and they made a ton of money by doing this, right? So this is clearly someone that knew what was going to happen or someone that was in a position to make things happen. That's the problem with this situation, right? That is why someone like F2Pool could be doing this. Again, I'm just throwing the facts out there. It doesn't mean that they're actually doing it, but I'm presenting the facts. When you have a miner selling billions and billions of Bitcoin out there, right? It just makes sense that they are affecting the price and that Bitcoin's price could be suppressed because of it, and that they could take advantage of it through the use of this. That's the biggest thing. Now, I think a lot of you guys have heard me say this already, so I'm going to present something new. And again, thanks to, I believe, Jacob, who emailed this to me. And again, you guys decide after listening to this whether or not Chun Wang of F2Pool could be trusted. So this was back in 2018, and I don't know what kind of project Celsius OS or Cels OS is, but they decided one of the things they were going to do is post memoirs from certain players that they deem, influential, right? So this was, first article is memoirs about Wang Cheng. They said it backwards because in Chinese, the last name is actually first. Founder of F2Pool. Below is a translation of the article written by Wang in November 2015, when it was exactly the end of the bear market of Bitcoin. Okay, so this was written 6 years ago, and of course, Cheng is describing, some harsh times, right? So there's a section in here. There's a section in here that is very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. He's talking about mining, right? He got into mining and so forth. And let me read this section to you guys. I was not only engaged in mining, but occasionally in investing. In early September 2011, a 17-year-old Chinese genius, Zhong Tong, who studied in Singapore, released Bitcoin Ica, I don't know how you say that, the earliest leverage trading platform for Bitcoin. I was one of the first few users. At that time, I had a lot of Bitcoins in hand. I put a sell order of more than 500 Bitcoins on Mt. Gox, and after a few seconds, the purchase price on Bitcana would fall. At this time, I made a purchase on Bitcana and removed the sell order on Mt. Gox. Although the Bitcoins could not actually be bought from Bitcana on Mt. Gox, it showed that the deal was successful. In this way, money was earned and balance on Bitcana multiplied many times. Unfortunately, the price ended up in a sharp fall from 574 to 40. Zhong Tong later discovered this problem and made a correction. So, Chun Wang, even 6 years ago, realized that he had power to manipulate what was going on this leverage trading platform, Bitcoin. He had a significant amount of Bitcoins, and at that time, 500 Bitcoins on Mt. Gox, just by putting a sell order would cause this leverage trading platform to fall drastically. So this was 6 years ago. And if this is true, this is his memoirs, it does show that even early on, he found ways to manipulate the market and he profited from it until it was stopped. So this was 6 years ago. 6 years later, did he learn his lesson or did he expand upon this? He now controls an enormous amount of Bitcoins. And is he utilizing, derivatives like futures and options to profit from, especially when he knows he could sway the market, just like 6 years ago when he was able to do so on this other exchange, Bitcoin Cena. I know I butchered that name, but you guys get the point, right? So I think this is very, very, very interesting. I think this goes to his credibility or the lack of, right? So again, the whole point of me coming out these videos is to put the pieces together, hopefully with your help, right? So this is coming supposedly straight from his mouth, his own memoirs, and he talked about doing this. So is it really far-fetched that he's doing this on a larger scale now? You tell me. You guys decide. You guys decide, right? So I just want to bring that to light, and I want to thank Jacob who sent me this. And if you guys have more information like this, please send it to me. I would love to cover it and research it, right? So I just want to share that with you guys. So let me conclude by, basically talking about what can be done, because I kind of led with this, and people are like, well, so what do you want us to do, right? What do you suggest? Well, first of all, is awareness, right? Get this out there. And I think a lot of people are starting to talk about, like I said, other channels are talking about it, but a lot of the news outlets are not talking about it. So I think number one is we need to let everyone know, right? All these news outlets that we pull articles from, right? They talk about speculation, they talk about this and this and this, but they're not talking about this. And I'm wondering why, right? So I think number one is we need to have more awareness, because the more people that are looking into this, the faster it's going to get solved, right? Or resolved. So that's number one. I think we need to look at a whole bunch of, or contact a whole bunch of outlets and let them know what's going on, and other channels and influencers out there, right? So that's number one. Number two is, the pool, the F2 pool, right? The Bitcoin pool out there. It is large. It is very, very large, right? So the thing is, because of their size, they have this influence, right? So another thing is by getting the word out, and people are going to get discouraged, or people are not going to like potentially what they're doing, right? So it will cause, hopefully, people to switch away from F2 pool and into some of these other pools, which after investigating with Crypto Quant, none of these other pools are doing massive sells like F2 pool. So I think that could also help decrease the amount of power they have, right? The other thing is obvious thing is just like GameStop, just like everyone else, right? We all need to stand together and stay strong. And I think we're already doing that. I mentioned about the overall altcoin market. Overall market is over 1 trillion. Everything seems to be going in the right direction, with the exception of Bitcoin right now. It's just kind of stalling, right? But, buying and massive buying will also stop this, right? If there are a large amount of shorts out there, they will be liquidated, just like how it happened with GameStop and others, right? So massive buying will definitely also stop this. So as retail investors, us, we can't be discouraged by this, right? We will have to continue on like before, and as we should. It's not like I said at the beginning, it's not like we're in terrible trouble right now, right? It's just very, very annoying that price is being somewhat suppressed. But when you have guys like Elon that is about to jump in, right? Bitcoin for blockchains from Michael Saylor, that is going to bring a lot more attention to Bitcoin, to corporations, you know, overall, these guys are going to help bring a lot more money into the space and hopefully liquidate these shorters, right? And cause Bitcoin to reach new highs in the near future. So that is also another way to stop this, right? So I think number one, I think the biggest thing is basically at this point is the tension. I mean, honestly, I think that's what it is. You just need to let people know about it and let people investigate. Even the CEO of Crypto Quant, right? I was thinking about reaching out to him. He's pretty active on Twitter and seeing that if there's other data points that he could share, because there are a few things that's missing, right, from Crypto Quant, and I don't know if he has more that he could share, so I could reach out to him and see that too. But I think that, you know, that's overall what it is, right? We can't be discouraged. We need to continue forward. We need to stay strong as a community, continue to buy and hodl, right? And wait for life-changing wealth, so that doesn't change at all, right? But also get the word out, right? Get the word out and get people to actually question about this, and hopefully we get an answer sooner or later, or just get this to be stopped altogether. That would also be very good. And maybe some people will start switching off of F2Pool, and I think that would also help this in the long run too. All right, I see a couple super chats. Jordan, hi, thank you for that. Blade Runner, thank you for that. Yeah, in terms of subs, I just hit 80,000. Thank you guys for making that happen, but mostly because of my video from yesterday and a lot of the coverage for it, right? So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, see, you know, draining a pool like would be optimal, right? But I have a feeling large amounts is from miners. I don't know where the miners are distributed, right? But I think that would be a great start, because the more attention we bring this to light, the more people question this, and if it turns out that they are kind of playing both sides, then hopefully people move away, right? That's the thing. So yeah, I appreciate the support, guys. So I think this memoir really gives it all, right? I mean, I'm assuming he wrote this. There's no reason why this is a fake memoirs posted by this project Celsius OS, because this is what they're doing, right? Posting memoirs of people. I mean, he basically admitted to what he was doing, right? And I think this adds to or takes away from his credibility at this point. And of course, he's been caught in many lies already on Twitter. So I don't know. AJ, you can always just email me, george@CryptosRUs.com. XRP about... thanks, George. Jemson, sorry. I butcher names all the time. Thanks, George. It takes balls for Asian, me included, to reveal dirty Asian tactics. I don't think it's just Asians, but I get your point. Kron BDC says, XRP about to explode again. I'm not so sure. XRP was looking really, really weak. I would not be surprised if it goes back down to 30 cents. Obviously, that pump was a giant dump fest by the organizers. That is why you don't want to trust those kind of groups where they tell you, hey, we're going to pump something, you know, at this time, right? Most likely they're getting newcomers to buy ahead of time to drive the price up, and then they just dump on that, you know, the rest of the people, right? So XRP, overall, I don't think they're going to move significantly with the SEC lawsuit on hand, but we'll see. We'll see. They submitted a proposal, so we'll see what happens, right? Now, I did want to mention one of the things right now that, you know, one category that's very hot right now is obviously DeFi, right? Overall, the whole market is doing really well. over $1 trillion. So there's nothing to be complaining about, right? A lot of things are definitely moving up in a big way today. Ethereum finally moved a little bit, up 5%, almost 1,400, right? So that's pretty good. You have Cardano that's up a staggering 16%. They've been stagnant for the past week or so, right? So you got a lot of movement today. Binance Coin moved up big, 13%. But of course, the DeFi projects are still very, very hot. For example, Uniswap, they are up a staggering 55% for the week, another 11%. They are climbing up very, very fast. Aave right now is a little bit stale, but I have a feeling it's going to switch on, and they're going to be catching up to Uniswap and moving up pretty soon. Uniswap and Aave I do like a lot. But Sushi is coming up in a big way. So there's a couple ones I want to talk about real quick. I don't want to just be all, Debbie Downer on what's going on with F2Pool. So I do want to cover a few other things. But Sushi, I cover very early on, right? Obviously, they had some problems, but right now they're definitely doing good after their Yearn Finance merger. They added credibility and they're moving up big time. And what really helps this case is the locked-in collateral. So DeFi Pulse, obviously the locked-in value keeps going up and up and up with DeFi, and many people are turning to decentralized, exchanges, DEXs, right? But if you look at the top three, okay, you have Uniswap with 3.2 billion locked in, within their liquidity pools. Curve Finance is number 2. But the reason why I don't like Curve that much is because everything is stable coins. And stable coins to me, just not very exciting. Uniswap, you have a lot of new tokens that's coming out, ERC20 tokens, and a lot of people are looking to get into them. But Curve only concentrates on stable coins. And no one says, I want to rush into a stable coin, right? That's the reason why I'm not a big fan of Curve Finance anymore. But look at SushiSwap. And so they're technically the second biggest out there, right? And in terms of the total locked-in liquidity, it's less than $1 billion between the two. But if you look at the price difference between Sushi and Uniswap, it is massive, right? So I do think SushiSwap has good potential. It definitely has good potential. It's always good to have competition, not everything be on one DEX, and Sushi's trying to, take some thunder away, so that's pretty good. Also, another one, Celsius. It's a competitor to Aave, right? And founded by Alex. I think he's a voice over IP creator for AT&T. So he has pretty good credentials. Celsius is also moving a big way. So pay attention to Celsius. 10-minute crypto. Appreciate the super chat. And another one that I haven't talked about yet, and I'm going to bring up to you guys, I did talk about it in my Patreon a little bit. I brought it up, and that is Terra. Terra has been on an absolute tear, 100% in the last 7 days. They're already around $1 billion, but they are a project to look out for, because they create stable coins. They create their own stable coins, but not only that, they're basically created by this by a South Korean company, and they're already pretty big in South Korea, and they have a ton of funding, and they have a lot of usage for their stable coins. They have a Terra USA, Terra KRW, and they're coming out Terras for basically all currencies, and they already have a lot of use cases like a wallet, a DEX, a derivatives platform that's all based on Terra's stablecoin. So they're actually really, really promising for those of you guys just interested in another project. So I just want to share that. What else? Gabriel, appreciate that. That super chat. And going down the list, of course, Voyager is damn hot, right? I found out that they have a waiting list right now, so that's unfortunate. I know a lot of people try to get in. They have problems. I think they just shut down signups right now. But Voyager is really, really hot. Not as hot as a few days ago when it hit like 340, but still, they're going the right direction. They're not DeFi, but they are a good Coinbase alternative. And if you're looking to buy VGX in the United States, there's not that many places. besides Voyager app itself. But I do want to bring them up too. A lot of people's talking about Swissborg. Quite honestly, I have not looked into them that much, but they are looking like they're a good alternative. Also, kind of like Voyager, where you could pretty much do it all on there. So they are actually doing very well. I did also mention about 1inch recently, right? When it comes to DEXs, 1inch is an aggregator of all DEXs. So if you didn't want to, just go on Uniswap or SushiSwap, you go on 1inch and pretty much get and trade all the tokens that is on all the DEXs. So 1inch has been really, really hot too. And I do like that project again. I do like that project. So I covered them recently if you guys haven't watched it. So I just want to mention about DeFi because there are a lot. There's a lot of promising stuff. Hey, AJ, thanks for that super chat again. I emailed you email from F2Pool customer support. I wonder how that's gonna be. I'll look at it after this, and if it's good, I'll bring it up tomorrow. Timothy Urray. I remember you from the previous days. T-Food and Deep Onion and Best Buys and all of crypto. I'm going to disagree with both of them. I never liked T-Food. And I don't think they can compete with VeChain at all. I'm glad you're back. But I don't agree with your recommendations as the best buys in all of crypto. So is February going to be another flat month? Well, that's an interesting thing. It depends on if the selling pressure goes away. And it depends on this conference from Michael Saylor tomorrow, right? Or is it tomorrow or later? I think the 3rd. A lot of things could happen really quick, right? I think some people are getting discouraged. But let's not forget, when Bitcoin was below 19.5, we went through the same period. In fact, if you look at it, you stretch it out, right? When Bitcoin first approached 19.5, it took about 25 days to break out, right? And there were some scary times too. If you zoom in, you see that it fell down pretty drastically a couple times. Guess what? When it was over, it started going up. Unfortunately, crypto quant didn't see anything like from F2Pool, but it just seems like it was pretty suspicious over here too, right? That Bitcoin was holding below. And then guess what happened? Boom, right? So right now, we're about the same, about three weeks in, maybe going into the 4th week, right? But you know what? Going into February, actually, we are in February already. What am I talking about? We are in February. But, going into this month and next month, who knows, right? When we break out, we will break out heavily. So it's got to wait a little bit longer. Thoughts on Doge? I like everyone else love to see Doge thrive, right? But you have one group that basically recognizes you should not get involved at all, right? Because it really serves no purpose. And you got another group that simply loves it because it's a meme. And Elon even was asked about it recently, and he said, it's a meme coin, it's a joke coin, I like to talk about it, but he's not very serious at all about it. But the fact of the matter is, Wall Street Bets, basically what has happened with GameStop and so forth, Dogecoin pumped up 300% within the last 7 days, which is significant. They're at above 3 cents right now, which is crazy because they were below 1 cent, just a week ago. And they were really, really below. Like we're talking about not even pennies, like fractions of a pennies, right? So for people that held on Dogecoin, it made a ton. But can it go back up again to 8 cents or whatever? Who knows? This is crypto. When it was pumping up, I always made this example. XRP went up to $3.77, right? So if XRP could go to almost $4, why can't Dogecoin go to 10 cents, right? Why can't it go to $1? These stranger things have happened. But there's really nothing fundamentally pushing and driving it up besides Elon pumps right now. So unless Elon says, hey, I'm going to adopt Dogecoin, you could use Dogecoin to buy Teslas, which may actually happen. That actually could happen, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Dogecoin will have a Super Bowl commercial, Elon. I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, yeah, it's kind of boring for Bitcoin right now, right? Like this morning, Bitcoin pumped to 34.5 again, looks very promising, and of course, more sell pressure from F2Pool drove it down, but now we're just kind of going sideways. But you know, Bitcoin is holding strong, coming up to 34,000 again. It looks like the buyers just want to eat everything up at this point and really want to take over, right? So that could just happen, you know, in the near future. But with that said, it was still really pleased me, and I think a lot of people, to figure out just what the hell this is all about, right? This is just a crazy amount of Bitcoins being sold, right? It's not to pay for operations. Obviously, there's something going on, right? And the fear is that they could be playing both sides, playing the future side by profiting from there and also driving price down. So with the profits from futures, they could rebuy back, right? Just think about if you had that power. You know, power is not only addictive, but it's very, very hard to control, right? Corruption usually happens when you have power. Bad things happen usually when people have power or too much of it, right? So if they're able to do this, just think about it. Think about the temptations, right? And you know what? His own memoirs said he did it before. It's almost the same exact scenario where he had a lot of Bitcoins and he was able to manipulate the trading platform. So he even admitted that he did it before. So is it far-fetched that he's doing it now? I don't know, but that's what I need people to figure out and bring more attention to. Hey, Michael, appreciate it. You're already in Patreon. You do not need to give super chats, but I appreciate it anyways. Vegeta, get that out of your mind. 40K was not the top, okay? It's nowhere close to being the top. I mean, honestly, I've been saying this for a while now, and I still believe it. I mean, this cycle could be a super cycle, like a cycle that never ends. Because once we get up there, once we have true adoption, true institutional adoption and retail adoption and global adoption, what reason is there for it to come down? Institutions are not buying to day trade. They're not buying to, okay, Bitcoin topped out, we're going to sell. No, they're buying it because they're trying to hedge against inflation. That is the true reason. You know, they're not looking for Bitcoin to go to $1 million. So though going up is a pretty good side benefit. But you know what? They're anticipating that Bitcoin is just as good as gold as a store of value. And some are saying it's better. So despite the fact that Bitcoin is stalling, it is still considered the 10th largest company on earth, even at this evaluation, right? But when you add in silver and gold, it's at number 12. But if you take those two out, it is the 10th largest corporation. That is an enormous achievement, and it's only going to climb up. It's only going to climb up from here. So that is the reason why they're getting in, which is why once Bitcoin gets up there, meaning that it catches up to gold, which means that it will be roughly around 600,000 per Bitcoin. There's no reason why it's going to come down. No reason why at all. So right now we just have to wait. Be patient. Solve some of this stuff that we're seeing right now, right? Keep buying, keep holding, right? And just wait. Wait for life-changing wealth. That hasn't changed. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. You know, Bitcoin's doing good. It seems like every time I stream, Bitcoin does good. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. But all right. Anyways, So point of today's video is an update on my earlier video from this morning and my video from yesterday. I think a lot of people are talking about it, right? This whole shenanigans with F2Pool and their massive selling. What is the purpose? You know, do we know what the purpose is? No, we're trying to figure it out, right? But thanks to Jacob for sending me this. His own memoirs tells a story that basically takes any credibility away from him, right? And you could see it with his tweets. He's changing his story left and right. He's not really taking things seriously. So can we really trust Chun Wang of F2Pool? Can we really trust F2Pool at this point? You guys decide. You guys decide. Hopefully we get answers sooner or later, and hopefully we get more attention to this story. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Stay tuned to my live stream tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.